So research has shown that taking paper notes is the most beneficial way to interact with text. But in our digital world, we don't always have that option. So we need to figure out how can we replicate that benefit in a digital world. And there's some tools now that allow us to do that. In a perfect world, we'd all have touchscreen Chromebooks, but we currently don't. So what are some other things we can do? I am going to take a screenshot of a section of text that I have open right now, and this is a CK12 text. On your Chromebooks, the keyboard shortcut is Control, Shift, Window Switch button. That looks like 3 boxes kind of on your top row. Here I'm going to use a Snagit extension because I'm on my PC. So to do the same thing, I'm going to select a region of text. Okay. One of the things that I want to remind you of is that you can always zoom in on the text. If you want it to be larger, one of the other challenges of reading digital text is the text isn't always the size we want it to be. So I'm going to zoom in as well with the Control plus button and then use Snagit to capture this image. And I'm going to give a little name here. If you do a screenshot, it automatically saves it to your screenshot location. So I'll just give it a name here. There it is. And I'm going to download my screenshot just as though you downloaded yours when you used the keyboard shortcut. Then I'm going to hop over to Google Keep, note-taking app that I can then click on the image icon and create a note from an image. And there it is. I can add information below it, but that's not what I'm most interested in right now. What I want to do is actually click on the note so it opens up in Keep. And in the upper right hand corner I've got this pen. I'm going to click on that, and that allows me to annotate over my image, my notes. So then I can come along here, and I'm going to increase the size a little bit, change color, and now I can annotate on my notes. Okay. And for whatever reason, I decide that I want to circle this word, underline that word, make a star here. And once I'm happy with what I've created, I can then use the 3 buttons in the upper right hand corner and download my new annotated notes. I'm going to label those notes. And then I'm going to hop over to my next favorite digital tool, and that is Google Drawing. And I'm going to upload that annotation into Google Drawing. The reason I'm going to do that is because Google Drawing then lets me add more visual to my notes. In this case, I'm going to insert an image, and I'm going to use search from the web, because as I read this, what do you have in common with pond scum? It makes me wonder or think of pond scum, and I want that to be something visual. So I'm going to grab pond scum, drag it over here into my notes, resize that image, and when I see pond scum, I think of gross. It's slimy, it's disgusting, so I might come in here and insert a call out, or how about I have a thought. This makes me think of gross. And by doing this, I'm creating dialogue with myself. Let's make this red really stand out. Okay, pond scum is gross. And what we know from studying good readers is good readers have this kind of dialogue with themselves. They stop and think about the emotions and the thoughts they're having. And if we can get that into a visual system in our notes, not only can it benefit us, but it can benefit others. I can then add shapes. Okay, I can add an arrow. There's something I want to point out. Say the word home. I could come along here and add an image of a house and resize it. I can always double click on that, change my crop to a call out. Let's make it a star like that. There we go. So I'm making my notes a little more visually interesting and stimulating to my brain, so when I come back and review these, I'll have a better recollection. One of the things we can do in class to take advantage of this is if I download this image, I can then come back to a Google slide. And so I have a slide here. I'm going to add an extra slide at the end of it. And I can then insert my final notes into a Google slide. And then we can share that in class, and others can benefit from what they're seeing that's going on in my mind as I'm reading and taking notes. One of the other things that we can do is take this a step further, use something like Seesaw, in which we can take our image, upload it to Seesaw, and narrate over it. So we've got narration, we're hearing voice, we're seeing visuals, we're seeing note-taking, and we can share that with our classmates. And one groups might look like this, another groups might look like this, but point is, the more we interact with learners, the more we see how our brains work and improve our skills, so all of us have the skills to comprehend any text that we face.